Justice Haynes could be the most important player at the University of Michigan 2025 and one of the most important players in college football. Let me tell you about why. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round, so if that is something you're into, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and you tell me, do you think Justice Haynes will have as big an impact on the college football season as I do? With that question, answer it in the comments below. I'm basing this on a couple of things, right? First one is Michigan is going into a year where they hope to find their quarterback. Mikey Keene going to have a shot, probably the leader at the start to begin the season as a starter at Michigan. Already, he is a step above what they had last year. Davis Warren, Jack Tuttle, Alex Orji. 3 guys that you didn't really want to throw the football and basically had you playing without a quarterback. Adding more to this is the lack of run game out of anybody not named Kalel Mullins until late in the season, and the disappearing act that was Donovan Edwards over 2024. You got to take it back to 2023 for the last time that we feared a Michigan rush attack, and that had Blake Corum at the back of it, a guy that went for over 1,200 yards on the ground and ended up with the single-season record for rushing touchdowns at Michigan, a program that is proud of its running back tradition, proud of its offensive line tradition. They needed the help at tailback. Now, they're fine, right? You've got other men that can go behind Justice Haynes, but there's a reason why you needed Justice Haynes to come from Alabama to Michigan to help, and it's got everything to do with giving Mikey Keene and or Bryce Underwood the kind of consistent rushing attack that is necessary for the development of a new quarterback. You're also talking about Chip Lindsey as the new offensive coordinator, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he melds with Sharon Moore's idea for what an offense should be at Michigan. And I think that has a lot to do with what Jim Harbaugh's idea of what an offense looks like at Michigan. And that is, we build a great offensive line and we run the football, we play action pass, and we try to get guys open down the field. But one thing has to come before the other, and that is always going to be running the football at Michigan. They're going to lean on the defense. They're also getting help here, right? Damon Payne comes from Alabama as well to help you replace Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, 2 outstanding defensive tackles for the University of Michigan last year. You're also bringing in TJ Metcalf from Arkansas to play some safety for you. Ernest Hausman should be great. These are all things that I think are important as we're talking about a Michigan team that is trying to get back to the Big Ten championship game for what would be the 3rd time in 4 years. Let's see, 2021, 2022, 2023, 4th time in 5 years. Not too shabby, right? You also want to continue to push your luck, push that streak against Ohio State to win consecutive games. 10 years in a row, Ohio State beat Michigan. Now they're up to 4 at Michigan, beating Ohio State. They would like to get to 5, right? You would also like to do it with championships. You're going to be facing an Ohio State team that did what you just did. They won the national championship. They feel very good about themselves. They also are going to have a new starting quarterback, 4th time in 4 years. You could make a leap here. Wink Martindale's defense is going to be pretty good because he's been pretty good. If you can get the development out of the run game early from guys like Justice Haynes, and you give Mikey Keene and then eventually Bryce Underwood the opportunity to throw deep to guys that have yet to perform, you've also got something going. I think Donovan McCulley could have a lot to do with how great Michigan's offensive prowess could be, because you need a wide receiver out there that strikes fear into somebody. You need a Roman Wilson of some sort. Heaven forbid you get another Braylon Edwards out there. I don't know that you got that guy on the roster. I don't even think that guy is committed to Michigan or would be. But losing guys like Will Johnson from last year, that's going to hurt. You're going to need help. Being able to replace the kind of pass rush that you were able to muster, being able to lean on that defense, you're going to ask a lot of Wink Martindale. But you're also looking at Chip Lindsey, who developed Drake May into a premier passer at North Carolina. When it was singing well. And when it was singing well, they had a couple of tailbacks that everybody feared. They have a couple of wide receivers that everybody feared at North Carolina. Develop that, and you're going to do more than make noise in the Big Ten. It could be the first Ohio State Big Ten championship that we get to see. And frankly, that's the reason I always wanted these divisions to go away. I wanted to see Ohio State, Penn State, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan, excuse me, play against each other for the championship. It always felt like an Iowa or Northwestern would be there, Purdue would be there, and we're going, what for, how, why, for what? Nobody wants to see this. We didn't ask for this. We want to see Ohio State, Michigan back-to-back weeks, if at all possible. That would be great. We would like to see these teams that are ranking inside the top 10 play each other for a chance at the conference championship. And now that we're in a 12-team playoff, that game has taken on a different meaning. And it might take on an even more different meaning depending on what we do with the expansion of the playoff, which seems like it's coming. It's about 14 or 16, and how influential we want the conference championships to be in the seeding. But one thing before the other, right? You've got a Michigan team that's got to go to Oklahoma, and it is an Oklahoma that is going to be good enough to beat you, especially if you don't have the quarterback thing nailed down, and if Justice Haynes does not get off to the kind of start that I think he can. But he has proven he's more than capable of being a 1,000-yard tailback, which I think would make him the 23rd 1,000-yard tailback in Michigan history. And he's more than capable of leading the Big Ten in rushing if he's the bell cow guy. I don't think you bring him in to not be the bell cow guy. But with all Michigan has going on, sign stealing still not settled, Matt Weiss and that criminal investigation and what it has revealed, to how Michigan has felt about its DEI programs. I'm black, that means something to me. To just what Michigan has meant to college football. I mean, The Athletic just published its unofficial study that said Michigan was the most popular team in all of college football, even as Ohio State's coming out for winning the national championship. And the folks that tend to root for that program want to see it do well. They got a black head coach. They got a black athletic director. There aren't too many programs that can say that, let alone have won a national championship. Sharon Moore still got some things to figure out, but he's in a good spot. And I think Justice Haynes is indicative of where this place is going, as is Bryce Underwood. Now,